Good afternoon. Today we're going to be taking a look at importing using the LAN-based import wizard. Now the reason I'm looking at the LAN-based import wizard is because the LAN-based allows you to map your account manager and your owner via your import mapping. So I'll show you how to do that. To get started, I'm logged into an instance here, and I've went into my C drive here, Program Files x86, my Sales Logics, and the Import Wiz exe. So that's not located on your programs. You'd have to actually go into this directory here on your server and find the Import Wiz exe, and just double click on that, and it'll give you a login screen just like your LAN-based client. When we do that, I'll just close this now. When we do that and log in, we end up starting at this screen here for the import wizard. I have chosen the last option here to create a custom import from a database or a text file. So I already have a file sitting out here, my import CSV file. I've went in and created that in my Excel and saved that as a CSV file within Excel. One of the things you want to do when you create that file is make sure that you have matched the columns names as closely as possible to the actual field names within Sales Logics. That'll help you out a lot. You also want to have a unique identifier, whether that's a unique ID or if it's the company name, or what is the unique identifier for each one here. So let's walk through and you'll see a little bit better. So I'm saying create a custom import from the database or a text file. Click on Next here. Now in this next screen, I'm going to say import from a text CSV file. And just click on Next. In here, I'm going to say, do I want the wizard to help me get started? I'm going to say yes. In here, are you importing contacts only or accounts only? No, we're going to import both accounts and contacts. And now I select my file. So I'll click on the little folder here, and out on my desktop I have my CSV file that I'll choose, and click on Open. And I'm going to click on Next again. So now on this screen, you just read the top screen for each different screen here. This one says, where's your contact data to import? Well, we only have one file, so we're going to say it's the same as the account table, and just check that box there and click on Next. It says, where's your account address data? Same table again, we just have one file we're using. I'm going to say we're not going to import any account notes in this case. We don't have any notes fields in this file. Where's your contact address data to import? There again, we only have one file, so it's the same as the contact table. We also do not have any contact notes to import, so I'll just check this box here, click on Next again. Now here's our unique identifier. As I said before, whether you have a unique ID or whether a company name, says how do you identify an account? So in this case here, we don't have a unique identifier in here other than the company, so I'm just going to choose company. And click on Next again. Now it says the import wizard will help us define the import table. We just say OK there. Now it starts showing us our mappings here. So through this next screen here, the import data files or database, we already have our import CSV files. So I'm just going to click on Next here. Now it starts showing us the tables. And on the right-hand side here, I can see it says Sales Logics Tables, shows us all of our tables. Once again, I'm just going to click on Next through this screen. Now it shows us the specific tables. So it's showing me the account table here, and it shows me my import table on the left-hand side. So I'm going to click on the plus sign on my import table. Now we want to map all the fields we can into the account table. So like the company name, and I'll map that right over into account. First name, last name, those are contact fields, so we don't have to worry about them here, as well as title, as well as department. Now industry we can map in here. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, find my industry field, There it is. So I'm going to just drag industry right over on top of that industry field and drop it. The owner field, now our owner field in SalesLogix is the SEC code ID. So we're going to find the SEC code ID field, SECCODEID, and we'll map our owner to that. Account manager, we're going to find our account manager ID and map that over. Any other fields we see there that would go into the account table, we'll make sure to map them. Doesn't look like we have any there. So we'll go to our next table. So that was the account table. We'll click on next here. Now we have the account address table. So here we'll map our address fields, address line 1, the city, the state, postal code, and that's it. Those are all of our address fields. I'll click on next again. Now read the table again. Now we have the contact address. So we're going to map all the contact address fields, and now it's duplicated our import files here. We'll stay with the top one always. Click on the plus sign to expand it again. Now we'll map the contact address as we did the account address. And there I have all the account or the contact address fields mapped. We'll click on next again. Now it's saying the contact table. So stay on the top in the left side here, click the plus sign. Now we'll map all the contact fields. We have account again. We have first name. We have last name. Department. Oh, and I missed title there. So we'll go back and we'll pick up title. Scroll down and find our title field. There it is. Drag title. We already did department. Industry was on the account level, so we don't have to worry about that. The account manager is there, and our SEC code. So we'll take the owner, map it to the SEC code, and the account manager, map it to the account manager ID. We have some other fields there. We have mobile phone, office phone, and email. So let's scroll up here a little bit. There's the email. So I'll grab email and map it over. Mobile, there's our mobile phone. And office phone or work phone is there as well. Drag that up to work phone and drop it. And as we look through our fields on the left-hand side, it looks like we have all of our fields mapped now that we need to map to our contact and account table. We could save this as a SIM file. You can save it out to your desktop or wherever you want to save that to. Import test mapping, I could save and replace it with what's there. So that if we needed to use this again, if our CSV file was exactly the same formatting, then we could use that again and just use the same mapping, not have to worry about remapping everything. I'll click on next again. Now here it has a default user and default owner. So if it did not have an account manager or if it did not have an owner, it would put these defaults in there. So we could choose a default account manager. If it didn't have one, we'll put Lee Hogan. Default owner, we'll put system of everyone. And I'll click on next again. Now here's where it's giving us our mapping. Because we chose to map the account manager, now it's showing us what the value was in our CSV file and who we're going to map that to. So we need to know what value is coming in, what is the matching user in SalesLogix. So 009, we'll drag over here, and it is Dan Barrett. I'll drop it there. You see it mapped. 011, map that to Gene Grant. 13, I'm going to map to Kathy Hughes. Now you see it's a little bit jumpy there that is how the wizard works. It is a little bit jumpy, so when it highlights it, just drop and it will pick it up. And I'll map this one to Jay Johnson. There we go. We have our maps. We could also save that user mapping if we wanted to at this point. I won't in this case. I'm going to click on Next. Now it says we have to map our owner. So this is the owner IDs that are in our spreadsheet. So, and these IDs match up to owner values within our SalesLogix or Infor CRM. So here I'm going to select owner and go to teams, and I'm going to mark the first one as a global owner, so that's the team. Next one, select an owner. I can choose a different team here, Northeast. Now I want to make sure these are matching to what the actual value is in SalesLogix. So I'd have to go in and look at my teams within the interface and make sure I had the right teams to match to the right IDs. Last one here, tech support. So there's our mapping. Again, we could save our owner mapping here if we wanted to. I'm just going to click on Next. Now in the last screen here it says, do you want to put in a lead source for these? So I am going to put in a lead source. I pre-did this before I started recording here. So I just put in a new lead source and I called it Trade Show Excel from 11/3 of 21. And my abbreviation is just TSX, whatever you want to abbreviate it as. You could add the date on the end of that also to make it a little more unique. The type is going to be Trade Show. I chose the date of today and the status as active. And I'll click on Next again. So now we're at the screen where we can actually import. So again, the reason I chose the LAN-based wizard for this webinar is that it does allow us to map a value into the account manager and a value into the owner field. Otherwise, we'd end up with one owner and one account manager per import, which is fine. If that's what you have, then we could very easily use the web-based import, which I'll do another webinar on. So here we're at our import screen. You want to check for duplicates or not. If you want to have it prompt you for duplicate, you could look at the options here and say what you're going to match on duplicates. We could say if there's duplicate accounts, and we could choose other fields as well here. Contact, so it's looking at both the contact and the account at this point, and it will stop if it finds a duplicate. So let's just say, okay, we'll prompt if duplicate there. And then we'll commit every 500 inserts, that's fine. And let's just go ahead and import this. That was pretty quick. So it imported 25 accounts, 50 addresses, one for an account, one for a contact. There's only one lead source, 25 contacts, and it completed. And I can just click on Finish there, and it has totally completed. Now if I go back out here, let me minimize this once. And look here, we'll look here at our actual contacts. And let me refresh that. We'll create a new group here. So I'll copy my all contacts. And in my conditions, I'm just going to say if the lead, we'll go down to lead source, if we have it here, contact lead source, and go one underneath that to lead source table. And let's look at the abbreviated description. And if we browse here, there we see our TSX. And that can be our one condition for this group. And I'll just name this group TSX so we know what it is here. Copy that down into my display name and say OK. And here's our 25 contact records that were imported for us. So now at this point we just want to go in to each record, look at the values we imported, make sure that they're all imported correctly. And we have our import list. That's all there is to it. Pretty easy. Next time we'll look at importing using the web-based wizard, which you can access from over here on the right-hand side of the screen via the import. But that's it for today. Accessing your LAN import wizard via the server itself, and then remember, you just go out into your C drive, Program Files x86, your Sales Logics directory, and in the Sales Logics directory, you'd scroll down and find your Import Wiz exe. That's what you're looking for to open up. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great afternoon.